Welcome, ladies and gentlemen and theys. I am Arya, your host for this episode of Deliberations, where we're going to duke it out to see which of you gamers is gonna win the battle.
Ooh.
We are deliberating
that.
video game round. It is round 4, and we're all very anxious about it.
Ooh.
Who's gonna get the high score, I wonder?
The
We need a
contestants
boing,
must
boing.
be feeling even more anxious then.
Wahoo!
Are we ready to paste?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Petra, use the wrong
what?
colors.
What? Okay, sorting this, I'm already seeing some pretty interesting discrepancies.
Petri, how could you do that?
Each of us has a different top performance, and Angelina is a big contention, I see. Well,
Why?
okay, should we talk about that first then?
Yes.
Yeah, since it's so out there. So for me, Angelina, there is dynamics in this. I like how you started soft and then built up to that powerful chorus. The belting is more edgy than last year, so you have shown good improvement. And that angelic head voice with vibrato in the middle is just gorgeous. But I didn't get a lot of emotion in this. It felt a little bit flat for me in that regard. It could be a song choice issue, because it doesn't stand out as amazing to me. It hits some boxes, but there's no heart in this. I like that you showed more of your lower range, but it's still obviously not your strong point. It was a little weak to me. But overall, a great performance. It was just a really tough competition this round, so yeah.
So I actually thought this was probably my favorite cover by Angelina so far. It is the most mature tone I've ever heard from her, and it gives, like you said, both soft and power. And I fell in love with those clear, crystalline high note. I don't see what you're seeing in terms of emotion, because I thought it was pretty packed with emotion, though this style of song is more up my alley than anything else. So I really liked this. It just came together really well.
Yeah, it could just be that we like different styles, and maybe just this style of music doesn't hit me with the same emotions like my top performance, for example. But what does Emma think?
I think the same thing as Arya. I mean, the vocals were beautiful. The contrast from soft to the more powerful notes was very, very good. The only gripe I had, which is why I docked a point, was the lower notes felt a little nasally, and it felt like she was kind of reaching for those bottom notes. The very, very bottom notes felt like she was trying to force them out. Aside from that, I felt like it was a perfect performance from Angelina. The vocal stamina that she had was incredible to get through a song with so much belting and such high energy, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely agree with Arya. I feel like it's one of her best performances.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far to say that it was one of her best. It was still good, but it just felt comparatively to my top 12. It was like my 13th or 14th spot. So it's not a knock on Angelina's talent or anything. It just, yeah, it didn't hit me the same way as you guys, emotion-wise.
That's crazy, man. That's all I can say.
Well, we're gonna be disagreeing a lot, so buckle up.
I know.
That's true.
Did you tally up all the 3s, 2s, and 1s yet?
No, since you were so in a hurry to speak about Angelina.
I wasn't the one who gave the okay.
Okay.
That was
Okay,
me.
should I? No, Arya, you actually said last round that you were so much quicker than me in counting this, so go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Dad.
We actually have
If you're
more
so
than
much
12. So I think we have, a couple to cut down from this, which is interesting.
That's worrying. I don't like this at
Oh,
all.
wow. The votes on Valentine. I still can't say his name, sorry. But
Valenta.
Valentine.
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 Valentine?
Yeah, so Valentine est féminin, Valentin est masculine.
Valentine.
Yeah.
I really want to know what you guys thought of Rectorious and why he was scored so low.
Okay. Do you want to begin then, Emma?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really loved this from Rectorius, and I feel like this gave so much in terms of dynamics. When you think about the kind of voice that he has and what he's able to do with it, it's kind of like a Daniel situation, where the tone of his voice and the range of his voice puts him in a box in a way, in where it is hard to compete with singers who are able to belt really high or do all these crazy things with their voice because they just can't do it. With Rectorius, I really loved the growls. They took me off guard from the beginning. He showed such a beautiful range between the deep singing to the higher notes, the softness in that middle section, the growls, the slides in his vocals, and then also the contrast with the deep spoken parts, which were very brief, which is why I'm mentioning them, because I liked that it gave that slight bit of change in the song. For a song that intense, I felt like he brought so many different things that it was almost overwhelming to pick out all the individual parts because I felt like there was so much going on in a good way. I really loved this. I'm not sure what you guys heard.
I was very impressed by the power and the roughness, but this is by far my least favorite performance from you. Most of it was very pitchy, so it was quite an uncomfortable listen for me. You are stretching your voice on the falsetto. It was a bad song choice to me. Maybe I just don't understand this genre, but a lot of it doesn't show vocal capabilities. There is some talking and growling and you're abusing the vocal fry, but not enough actual singing in this 2-minute entry. I'm sorry, but I really didn't like this, and that's such a shame because you have shown amazing vocals before. I think you took a risk that just didn't pay off, in my opinion.
I'm kind of on the opposite spectrum where I love the heck out of this genre, and at parts Victorious' voice was very reminiscent of David Draymond of Disturbed, and I was super blown away by the sheer amount of grit in the performance, but something about the harmonies rubs me the wrong way. They're not pitched correctly, and the high notes aren't well supportive. I know that the falsetto was performed in the style of the original, where it's that super whiny, tinny falsetto, but I'm a firm believer in that the original isn't always correct. And when he did that, it just sounded like he didn't have very much control over the tone of his falsetto yet. I can sense a lot of potential in this entry, but the problem lies in that it's not at that level as of now.
Yeah, and we can't vote strictly on potential because at the end of the day, it is about what they do in the entry.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with both of your perspectives. I don't regret scoring him as high as I did. I think it was a really solid performance and I really loved it, but I am willing to let him go as much as it pains me.
Yeah, each of us is gonna have to do some hard decisions today. You're not alone.
I'm sick.
Okay, we have 14 in the 3 and 2 years list combined.
Yeah, so even if we gave up all of our ones, we'd have to let go of 2 people.
Yeah.
I kind of already know who my 2 are that I would let go personally, but...
And I'm completely fine with letting go of everyone in the 1 yes because I wasn't outvoted this round, so it's up to you guys if you want to argue about them.
That sounds very selfish if you ask me.
Why is that selfish? I mean, why should I care? I mean, obviously, I do care about letting them go because each of them has great potential, but I'm just judging purely based on this round.
I would care about your picks.
Whoa.
This is going to be very shocking, probably, but I would be okay with letting go of Tristan.
Me too.
No, why?
Can I say something on Tristan real quick?
Yeah.
Maybe this is biased because I love this song. I listen to this song all the time. Like, it's on my main playlist. I listen to it every single day. The harmonies and the actual sort of hook part was perfect. It sounded exactly like the original, but with Tristan's spin on it, and it was very accurate to the original song. But the main vocal was not good. It was pitchy. It was shaky. The sustained note before the final hook, I believe, was not great. The runs were sloppy. The ad-libs in the hooks were not on key. Aside from the harmonies, I did not enjoy the rest of it at all.
Oh wow.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
No, I disagree with you. can I go? We have to have something positive in the middle here.
You can go.
Tristan.
Yes. Positive.
Yeah, Tristan, this actually reminds me a bit of Ronja Rövardotter. It's a Swedish middle-aged film based on a children's book by Astrid Lindgren, cause it has this deep harmonizing vocal suitable for the time era. Your vocals in this are deeper than ever. I didn't know you were capable of this. It's so manly and sexy. I love it. A very versatile voice. You got the comment last round from Arya that you were this high-pitched male singer, so I liked that you showed a different side this time. I'm a great fan of the country vibe and the harmonies. Some runs are out of control though, they were slightly off-key, and that is one of your recurring weaknesses, which you need to work on. I like the slight slipping into your falsetto like we can hear in yodeling, cause that is characteristic for country songs, and like I've said before, that is really my thing, so maybe that's where my high score comes from, but I just really like this. I don't want to let him go.
I thought that in general, this was a good listen. I could see it playing in the background as I were playing Red Dead Redemption 2. However, it just feels so samey throughout. The riffs weren't that tight, and the high notes were coming in through as really tinny. The entry doesn't showcase for me anything different in realms of technique that we haven't seen from Tristan before. So while I liked listening to it, I just left with a very firm sense of disappointment.
Okay, so in which round have we heard deep vocals from Tristan before? There is none. So he did show something different.
Okay, deep vocals, are they a technique?
Well, yes,
just...
if that's not your natural range, because you need to have control to be able to hit lower than your actual range.
Okay, but if he's hitting lower than his actual range, why are his high notes getting cut off if his forte is the high notes? Like, I don't understand it.
Were they cut off?
They were coming
felt
through
strained.
super tinny. Yeah.
When he was hitting the top high notes, they were falling flat just under the note as well. And it felt like he was pushing to hit those notes and they weren't landing.
Yeah, maybe it's easier for him to hit lower than his range than hit higher than his range. So there's a different technique there.
I do think he brought something different. I think for me, there's two things for me. Like, obviously he did do something different, which I really appreciate, and especially when it came to the hook, I think he performed that really well. I think for me it's a combination of the meaning of the song and not driving that through strong enough in my eyes, because it's a very soulful song all about losing your way of life, and I wasn't really feeling the soul in that. And then also just hitting the basic techniques, having the pitch, having the control, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there was no whoa.
So what do you think he could have done different?
He definitely could have tightened up his number one riffs, brought up those high notes, and definitely emoted.
Yeah, I think he needed to choose a song where he really felt connected to it on a deeper level than he did for this one. I think this one was very fun for him to do, and I definitely saw the passion he put into the video and into all of the layers and everything. I just think he didn't have a personal connection to the song, which meant that we weren't really getting that emotion from him as much.
I do wonder if I tend to compare songs too much to things I like Ronja Rövardotter and country and such. Maybe that influences my opinion too much. I don't know. Because if I hear something that I recognize that I like, then that automatically goes into my good book.
I think we all have a bit of that. It's just natural human bias.
Yeah, it is. Like, I have to, when I'm listening to these things, I have to kind of take a step back from myself and analyze if they've performed or if I enjoy listening to it. Because it's different. When I'm just a regular audience member and listening to songs on YouTube, I'm not critiquing, I'm just enjoying. And it's kind of hard being a judge because you have to really dig deep into yourself and critique a song more than just like it.
Yeah.
We can segue a bit to an example of something that I liked listening to, but I'm not sure it was performed well.
But then I also want to talk about the other two yeses and think about who we could drop instead and see where the arguments line up.
That's what I'm segueing to.
I will say that I did have two in mind that I would be willing to drop, and Tristan was one of them. So that would be, I would put a vote towards that. We'll see what the others are.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and segue towards Cam. I know I fought super hard for Cam last round, and I really liked the swing take on this song. I liked the cover. It stands on its own as a cover. But in a competition where I expressed that I wanted to be blown away, this didn't blow me away. There's, again, no emotional connection to the piece. It's sung very well and everything is correct from a technical standpoint, but I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, Cam, first of all, I love the acting in this. I actually used to do theater, and I think that was just so on point with the eyebrow movements and gestures. I know that is out of the scope for this judging, but I just had to mention it. But about the actual performance, I am weak for big band. You had emotion in this and subtle dynamics. It suits this genre well. It's kind of similar to musical theater though, and I want true versatility. Maybe some grit, something just to take away from your comfort zone. There were no big and bold dynamics in this, and you need to work on getting more power into your voice, but you have a very beautiful vibrato and timbre as always. You are actually a little bit reminiscent of Olivia from 2021.
And I know that in the morning I'll have to let you go.
She also had this strong musical theater voice, and she also struggled a bit to show versatility, but I still really love this.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of those points, the good and the constructive. I am so glad that we kept you for this round, because this, compared to the group round, was like night and day.
Yeah.
I really felt like we got to see you shine. I loved the switches between notes, the control on that, the jazzy vibrato, the acting, as Petru said, was really good, and it really made me enjoy the song. I felt like the slide into the top note at the end could have been smoother, but the actual top note was great. But for me, I wanted something, as Arya said, that will blow us away. And for me, this definitely felt like a safer choice.
Yeah, I can see that. Compared to Tristan, I could see letting go Cam more. Just because I think Tristan gave us something different, and it was still vocally impressive with the lower range when he's more a mid to high singer.
To be honest, I see them both equally in how much I would be willing to let them go.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Okay, let's
go ahead and move on to something.
Should we? Are there any two yeses that we would absolutely not let go of, just to sort of get them out of the way, so then we know exactly who we're looking at?
I would not let go of Libby because, spoiler alert, she was my top performance this round. Let us talk about her.
I have two that I would not let go of, Daniel and Angelina.
I agree with that. I know I said no to Daniel on my score sheet, but I would be more than happy to keep him.
Yeah, I would be heartbroken if we let go of Libby this round. Let's talk about Libby.
Yes, I definitely really like Libby. Can I start? Can I start?
No, it's my top performance. I get to start.
But it was my second.
Doesn't count. So
Fine.
Levis, I still stand by my opinion that you have the best vibrato in this competition. It's so magical. I'm just in love with it. Don't lose it, because then you lose your magic. All of your performances automatically get emotional because of it. You have a very strong and resonant voice, amazing runs. This was super dynamic with a lot of belting, and I'm a huge fan of that, as you all know. Small details like how you cracked your voice at 118 added emotion to the performance. A lot of sustained notes showed control, and the range was huge for me. There were some minute pitch issues though that stopped it from being a 10 for me, but it was very, very close.
I made a note that I wanted something dramatic from you, and you basically took that personally. And I am living for the song you chose and how you chose to cover it. This is so emotionally powerful and so captivating, and like Petru was saying, I love those little cracks you chose to implement between the switch in words. Overall, just well done. I have nothing but high praises for this piece.
I don't know what I was hearing, but I wasn't hearing what you guys were hearing. I will say, I'll start with the positives. The tone of your voice is absolutely gorgeous. The high belts were brilliant. The vibrato was quite literally music to my ears. But I didn't get the song. I think for me it was maybe a genre thing, or maybe just a specific specific song thing, but I didn't understand it and I wasn't really vibing with it, if that makes sense. I did feel like there were a fair few pitch and control issues with notes being slightly off, and I'm very much a stickler for slight pitch issues, where I just, once I hear a slight note being off, even if it's by just a tiny bit, I just hyper focus in on it and that's all I can think about. And the end felt weirdly strained to me. I'm not sure if that was just me, but it just didn't feel right. So I think for me, you have an amazing voice, a beautiful voice, but I think it was just the song. It didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, I didn't have any notes on the strain that you heard, but I definitely had minute pitch issues written down, so I can see where you're coming from there, but the overall feeling was very powerful to me. It's not a 10 for the very reason you said.
Yeah, it's not a 10 for me.
Well, I'm sorry I scored you so low. I do think you have an amazing voice. It just wasn't for me, I suppose.
Are you sorry enough to concede that she shouldn't be eliminated?
I mean, we were never gonna eliminate the beast anyway, right?
No.
Exactly.
She's like, I don't know why I even
So
said
I have
that.
no comment.
It's so funny. Can we talk? Okay, can we talk a second about?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry,
and then a 30-second break. I was like, where did she go?
I mean, she did say let's talk for a second. That was 1 second of talking.
That's very true.
I lost my ever-loving mind for just a moment. Bear with me. Okay. I do understand why you made this decision, but let's talk about your literal child, your baby.
Yeah, my baby.
Your ride or die. What happened?
I chose die. I chose die. No offense, Kalos. Please don't die. That's really dark. I was disappointed. I think the harmony arrangements were really beautiful, and I loved that you brought the harmonies back. They were gorgeous as always, and your voice is so beautiful, but I just felt underwhelmed. I don't know if it's because the song itself wasn't in a real language, so maybe I didn't connect with the song as much, but I just wasn't feeling the emotion. I feel like at this stage of the competition, you have to pull something crazy out, and while it was definitely different to your previous round, I felt like I knew you were capable of this, and that's what kind of disappointed me, is you didn't show me anything that I didn't already know you could do. So that's why I scored Kalos as a no, because I really thought he was going to pull something insane out of the bag, and I didn't feel like he did in this round.
That's true. It kind of led up to it with I chose a piece, like, what were these people saying? That they chose, like, songs that were, like, not contentions and not challenges, but I don't know the word I'm trying to find.
Risks?
Yes, risks. There was so much hype about this song being a risk, and I sat down and I listened, and I was like, I was getting ready for the risk, and I was like, was the risk just that it was in a different language? I don't understand. So yeah, another language is hard to do naturally, especially if the language is fake, so you have like no reference material for what correct pronunciation is. So on that point, the whole piece kind of already felt a little jarring to me, and it also felt like the cover leaned a bit sharp. And while the harmony arrangement was beautiful, like always, which is my biggest problem with this being labeled as a risk, I really would have liked a softer touch with the melody in general. You were singing it too harshly.
Obviously, it was a risk in the way that it was a made-up language, so that means I can't understand the message and whether or not the emotion fits. But I still felt the emotion, so I was impressed by that. The falsetto with harmonies were silky smooth. I loved the experience of it. It ticked a lot of boxes like emotion, dynamics, and range. You have a standout tone. I think Tristan is your biggest competition because you have this kind of similar nasal harmony kings thing about you. So it's gonna be hard to decide between you two because there's only gonna be one in the end, obviously. But that's gonna be exciting to see. Okay, well,
I know what I want for Christmas.
I wasn't done though. I wasn't done. man.
Oh, sorry. Oh my, geez, Shania Twain, calm down. Oh my god.
So there was no belting in this, which obviously is important to me because that's one of the hardest vocal techniques, and you have shown that before, so I do agree with Emma in the way that this wasn't totally different from what you have done before, but for a different reason.
Are you done now, Petri?
Yeah.
Sorry about
I don't
that.
like being interrupted.
I didn't know you had more to say. Oh,
We need like
gosh.
buttons. Your turn
Yeah.
to speak.
We need like a plushie we hold up. I'm holding the speaking bear. But no, I will say that I feel like I was extra strict on Kalos because he is sort of like not my favorite, but I have been rooting for him, and so I feel obligated to be extra nitpicky when it comes to him and be able to give him up when the time comes. But I would say I obviously said no to both Tristan and Kalos. I would choose Kalos over Tristan.
I think I would choose Tristan over Kalos this round.
I'm sort of leaning to Kalos over Tristan.
Oh, maybe we just eliminate them both. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
With that said, guys, I want you to self-reflect really quick for a moment and think
Okay.
about why you scored Pastel so dirtily. Is it because of the song choice? If
Yes.
I know it's because of the song choice. I know it's because you don't like the song itself. But do you realize how hard that song is to sing?
I love the song, personally. When I first heard it, I listened to it constantly. The thing is, I feel like the song is 80% acting and 20% singing. Obviously, you need to have singing skill to do it, but it's such like, there's a lot of talky parts, there's a lot of sound effects. The tone of the voice has to change in order to get the notes out in the way that they're intended for the song, because it's a character. And I personally didn't like that Pastel leaned so heavily into the Jinx character rather than doing it her own way and showing off her natural voice in that song.
I actually completely agree with Emma for once.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what's happening? Okay, but my full opinion. So Pastel, you put on a kind of interesting voice this round. It was this squeaky, high-pitched anime voice kinda. So you showed versatility, but it was not really my thing in particular. You had grit even though you put on the voice though, and that was really cool actually. But there was some talk singing in this and not much dynamics. It was kind of an odd song choice to me. I am impressed by the belting though, so I am quite torn still. Great job to Aaron for the video, by the way. It was a really fun and different video.
I thought it was
Yes,
really cute.
It was so fun.
I just
I'll be
thought that
honest.
the song was like such, like, in terms of what a risk is, this song felt like the biggest risk and the biggest challenge I've ever heard this entire round. And I thought that she did it really well. Yes, she did bring the character to life by manipulating the tone of her voice, but I can only imagine the amount of takes that it had to have taken, and she had the perfect amount of grit and vibrato and sheer power and energy. I can't imagine putting that much energy into a song and being able to sustain it. My biggest complaints were that she was a little muddled in the mixing and that it does have quite a bit of talking, but I was willing to overlook it.
Yeah, and I wasn't. It's not just about picking a challenging song, it's about the actual vocal technique that you are displaying, and there were too much talking in this, and that's not really okay for a competition,
Okay,
in my
I can
opinion.
say no more.
I also, just based on my notes, obviously I'm very impressed by the fact that she did something so different, but I did feel like the range of the song does stay fairly the same, and the higher notes in this song, because of the character, they turn out a little bit more crazy, a little bit more shrieky, and I would have liked to just hear clear power from Pastel rather than putting on a character and adding the rasp and the growl and the sort of, not in a bad way necessarily, but the more shrieky high notes that come with playing that character.
Yeah, and you know, Aria, if you disagree enough, then you know what to do. If you can let go your 6-person finale. Or well, it's not going to be a 6-person finale now.
No,
anyway.
it's not. This is called baiting. I bang the gavel for coercion. I won't do it. That's why you're so freaking confident. I won't do it.
No, I mean, I always vote based on the entry in the round. I didn't plan on eliminating her when we got into this round. It wasn't until I heard the entry, of course.
The same could be said for a lot of these people, honestly. Okay, moving on to Emma, please explain yourself about Ginga. Well, let's just talk about the 3 jump-up superstars in general.
And this is why I scored Ginga the way I did, because, even with there being 3, right? I listened to Ginga's first. I felt like it was too growly, it was too aggressive. It was exactly what we've heard from Ginga in every other round, which is this aggressive sort of anime intro kind of vocal. And I love it. I think it's so unique. I think Ginga does so good at that style, but I just didn't feel like it fit the kind of song that they chose. I feel like the vibrato and the falsetto moments were really good. I didn't like the transition between the chest voice to the falsetto. I really loved the soft vocals at the end, and I wish that we could have gotten more of that. I didn't enjoy the ad-libs on the Odyssey UC section. I felt like they were off in some way. Maybe the mix was wrong on that. Overall, it felt disjointed to me. It felt overly aggressive. I didn't enjoy it as much as, say, Brandon's take on it, which I felt like gave me everything I wanted and more.
Brandon killed that song. He won this song. Okay, anyway, Ginga. So my opinion is that this was a classic Ginga performance with that explosive energy and that engaging voice that really sucks you in. But all of your songs have kind of the same vibe so far. It's these high energy and happy songs, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just asking for more variety and versatility should you move on. I like that you transitioned into a softer voice on those highs. I don't like the shrieky belts that you have occasionally though, and that has been brought up before from me, so that is going to drop my score personally. And I remember you from season 4 that you were an amazing belter, especially in your cabaret song from the story round in season 4, so I wish to see that again. You have dynamics in the stronger section, but there was not a lot of soft dynamics, so yeah, this didn't stand out as something special to me compared to some of the other entries.
I'm so sad. You guys have literally dogged on everything that I found lovely about this cover. This feels like a This Love situation by Taylor Swift in the Judge's Choice Next Top Singer 2022 round. Emma, you should be very aware. Whereas I could not compare Brandon's version of this song and Ginga's version of this song because they were 2 entirely different songs. There was no comparison for me. I love them both. Ginga's version had everything from emotion to energy to a beautiful showcase of vibrato, both showcasing the high and low vocals. I don't think that we've ever got such a full all-encompassing blend of Ginga's voice in one song before. I also personally really liked the ad-libs that were slipped in there because I thought they were perfectly placed. I don't know what you're smoking, Emma, but I'm heated.
I really didn't like them. They sounded just off. I don't know why. And the issue I have with Ginga, and Ginga has an amazing voice for the record. I am not slandering Ginga's voice. It's just a really competitive round. And I felt like the past couple of rounds, or maybe even, I don't know, rounds 2 till 4, I've not really felt emotion from Ginga. I didn't feel it at all in this entry. I didn't feel it at all in the Rent song. I felt like Ginga was just pushing their voice and being aggressive and being this in-your-face growly vocal where I wanted more pullback, and I was so relieved to hear the soft portion at the end of the song because it was a part of Ginga's voice that I hadn't really heard a lot of yet. but it was so short. And I was like, why didn't you choose a song that showed a different version of your voice or a different part of your voice? Because we've heard this so many times now. That's my gripe.
I find this really interesting, Emma, because this is kind of the opposite of what you said about Rectorious, because you liked his entry for the same reasons that you don't like Ginga's entry. Because you said that you liked the roughness and the growling and everything. And he didn't have any soft parts in his song.
Yeah, I guess it's because, and I know that we're judging mostly based on the current entry, but if we are comparing Rectorious and Ginga, Rectorious started with more of a yask kind of vocal, and then he showed softer vocals and a slight bit of power, and then this round he's going full growl, full aggression, so it's something different every time. Whereas I feel like with Ginga, they're bringing the same kind of vocal every time, and with Rectorious I was really, with Rectorious I was really shocked and surprised by the type of voice that he brought forward, and that he was doing this so aggressively and in your face, because it wasn't something I'd heard before. Like I heard his low notes, and it was kind of like a Daniel situation with his beautiful deep notes, but I'd never really had true aggression from him before. So that's sort of why I scored him so highly compared to Ginga.
Yeah, so do you think Ginga could be a potential elimination based on lack of versatility, or should we give one final chance to show that next round?
I'm happy to give Ginga one final chance.
Next round is a ballad, and if Ginga doesn't pull through next round, then it's by choice as opposed to inability, I guess I want to say. I don't think that's the right word, though.
I really wanted Rectoria. Oh! Damn it!
Okay.
Well, you also have something you can do, Emma, if you really disagree.
I know. Well,
I had to do that last round and I wasn't even here.
That's true. I mean, you didn't have to.
I think we have to talk about my star then, because it's a really interesting turn of events here, don't you think?
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we waiting for?
We're waiting.
We're waiting because I could concede on Ginga if you guys tell me what you think about. Ginga is probably one of the only 2 or so people who change the songs to suit them.
And which is the other person?
Brandon, of course.
Okay.
I see this is the debate, right? Because there are ways to make a song your own, but also showcase versatility in your voice. Whereas with Ginga, I feel like tailoring the song to Ginga's voice is almost a bit of a cop-out, because I feel like there's more they could have done with the song that they didn't, and instead they, obviously because when they submitted it, they said the song means a lot to them, it's their catchphrase, all of this stuff. So obviously it makes sense that they would do it in their style vocally, but in terms of the competition in the round, I don't think tailoring it to them is as powerful as it would have been if they tailored themselves to the song, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, and I feel like I'm gonna have to concede because I would be a hypocrite if I didn't.
I will give up Rectorious if you give up Ginga. That's what I'm saying right now.
Oh,
well,
but
you're outvoted anyway, Emma. So
well, you know what?
Well, no, I was thinking.
You were thinking.
What if I cast my rod in for Victorious?
Oh.
Stop, Arya. This is gonna be so long. Don't do anything crazy.
I mean, I am in.
No, stop.
Let's talk about your favorite, Petri.
My favorite, Libby's. We already
already
talked about that.
No, not that favorite. Your star.
Oh yeah, my star. Well, I never said he was my favorite. I don't.
Well, he's your star, so he was your favorite last round.
It was kind of assumed.
Okay, so Valentine, I really like, or Valentine.
Oh, I said it wrong. I hate myself.
Yeah, anyway, I will never learn to say your name, sorry. But anyway, I really like that you listened to the feedback and proved that you could sing softly. It was a pretty solid soft voice. It was smooth and on pitch. But I also said that belters are really my thing, and there was no belting in this, which means you lost your biggest strength in my opinion. But the other judges should be happy with this, since they actually said they don't want you to belt for one round, to do something different, and this is different. So yeah, I'm glad glad that they followed my expectation there. But I didn't enjoy the audio quality in this. The vocals were too far back in the mix. It was a very relaxing cover that had some dynamics still. It was epic but soothing at the same time. I liked this, but I don't know if it was enough in my opinion.
I'll admit, I was super worried about this entry, but I thought Valentine really pulled through with this cover and showed all of us that he can perform those soft dynamics with the vocal control needed to hold a place in this competition. I thought that the intro harmonies were a bit pitchy, but they were in line and performed very beautifully throughout the rest of the piece.
I agree. I think it was a very challenging song for one person to do, given the amount of harmonies and that it's such an epic song. I love that you chose the French version rather than the original.
Here.
And compared to last round, this was very, very different and a lot better. I feel like the song choice last round did really all of you dirty. I think I said that in the group round, is I really didn't like how anyone did that song. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And I feel like you really shined here. The main vocal wasn't pitchy, but it was slightly in the ooh section. I don't know how else to say it. But it was super impressive, and I'm really happy that you did this, and I am very happy that Petri gave you his star, because we would not have heard this otherwise.
Me too. Thanks, Petri.
Yeah, I have to say, I do not regret my star, and like I've said, I have never regretted my star, so I am very happy that you proved me right in a way. At least you proved yourself to them, and that was the main thing here, so... yeah, I could be willing to concede on him since that means that my star actually did something. So, but then we have to drop one more from the or no, he was already in the 3 and 2. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
we have to drop two people still. And okay, based on what I have heard so far, I'm not sure if Ginga actually should get another chance to show versatility, because a lot of our other contestants have made an effort to show versatility already.
I can agree with that.
I am on board.
It should be a consideration from the very beginning.
Like, I know Ginga performed a very soft audition, but I don't feel like that's enough to carry you through the rest of the competition.
And I think I have made this comment before to Ginga. I'm just gonna go to check my previous notes, because if I already warned about that, then I feel better about that decision.
And I have a warning in my previous notes. I'm like, this decision is justified.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even in the group round, I felt like Ginga overpowered the other team members, and that's in part because of the type of vocal that they were putting across.
Okay, so looking back at my previous notes, I don't think I have mentioned versatility specifically. However, I always mention that as a general note to all of the contestants. I even made a long post in the Discord about why versatility is so important to me and what I mean by versatility and everything. So maybe not a warning specifically to Ginga, but I still think that should have been done regardless.
I mean, it makes sense because we've been... Sorry.
And I have warned about the shriekiness of the belting, so that is at least one recurring issue that I could justify eliminating based off.
I did look through my previous rounds for Ginga, and round 2 I mentioned that there weren't dynamics. It was 100% the whole way through. And then in round 3 was where I mentioned that Ginga was overpowering the other contestants because of the sheer aggressiveness the whole time. So I feel like it is something that should have been picked up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been saying this over and over for other contestants, so it's kind of like a bylaw now.
Yeah, and
Can
obviously
I suggest something kind of crazy?
I love crazy.
You can finish, Petri. Sorry, and then I want to pitch
No,
something.
I just wanted to say that Ginga has an obvious passion for this music and everything that Ginga has done. So this is not a knock on your talent. It's just this was a very tough competition this round, so we have to be really particular on who gets through. Yeah, I don't know if I phrased that a good way, but maybe I will cut that for the deliberation clip. I don't know.
No, I think you did it well. You said it well.
So I wanted to mention Aria's proposal from earlier about Rectorious.
Yes.
And I wanted to pose a bit of a crazy. We swap Ginga for Victorious, and then we let go of Tristan and Cam.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It seems like the most reasonable thing in my eyes because, one, I do think that Victorious deserves a second chance compared to Ginga because Victorious did show more versatility through the whole body of work. And then second of all, I feel that Tristan had technical issues with the high notes and with the runs, and then Cam had a very samey and a sort of easy song choice. So that would be why I choose them.
I am not on board with getting Victorious through because he was actually my bottom performance this round, so you're gonna have to outvote me on that.
I think we already did.
Damn it.
I feel like maybe it was the style of the song. I don't know. I don't understand how differently we heard things. I don't get it.
No, I definitely feel like the song itself is a contentious piece. Like, if I took that song and I, like, showed it to all of my friends, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I love this song. How about you guys? I would get a very mix of reactions.
Yeah, it's very out there. There's a lot happening, and I think maybe the fact that there's so much happening, it comes across as disorganized. I didn't necessarily hear that, but I could see how that could come across. But I do think Victorious really pushed himself when it came to delivering an array of different kinds of vocals, and I feel like we've heard a lot from him already. So it's hard to do something that's insanely different to what you've already done when you've already delivered soft vocals, harmonies, louder vocals, emotion. You know, it's definitely hard to find something else, and I feel like that was really what he was trying to give us. And I think he did give us something different.
Yeah, but what different kind of vocals did he give them? Because I just said that there wasn't enough singing in the 2 minutes, and most of it was really pitchy.
Well, the growly parts did have harmonies, and I don't think the harmonies were off pitch. I think that they actually fit the style of the song very well. He had a really beautiful softer moment in the middle of the song. I'm looking at the wrong comments. Let me find the other comments. Hold on. I was looking through previous rounds. But
I have a clerical error here.
No. But he had that soft part in the middle. He had the higher notes. I do admit not all of the higher notes were on key, but he did push himself, and for the most part it was on pitch. And he had a really gorgeous vocal slide that happened as well. He showed a lot. He showed a lot more than some of these other entries, in my opinion.
I will say the thing that makes me want to give my thumbs up to Victorious's entry is that my biggest gripe was that he performed the falsetto in the style of the original, but like, who am I to say don't sing it like the original, I guess. It wasn't wrong, I just didn't like it. And in a similar boat, the harmonies weren't wrong, I just didn't like them. And then the high notes, I found that they weren't really well supported, but like also Tristan's high notes weren't really well supported. So that's kind of what's pushing me in favor of Victorious.
Yeah, I think Victorious showed a lot more dynamics than Tristan did.
Yes, 100% actually. If you're comparing the two, Victorious showed a ton of more dynamics than Tristan did.
But did he show more range, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He hit the range a lot better than Tristan did, in my opinion.
Anyway, we could discuss this ad nauseum. I think you have already outvoted me, so let's just move on. I don't have any more arguments.
And then in terms, we still have to let go 2. Have we made any agreements on who those 2 are?
I will say that I've made an agreement with myself that I would like to keep Kalos.
I'm happy with that.
I would actually choose Tristan over Kalos, but I am outvoted, so whatever.
This is how I felt with Cyanite Petri.
So I was outvoted in the end. Damn it started so good. Let's go back to the beginning. Before we touched anything.
Okay, I will say, for me, there's 2 options. I think you'll hate both of them, Petri. But you might hate one of them less. For me, I would either drop Tristan and Cam, or Cam and Valentine.
Okay, I'm gonna make a bold statement here and say that
I love bold.
Tristan and Kalos are kind of the same vocal style, so I think we would get something more unique if we kept Valentine.
So what you're saying is it's between Tristan and Kalos?
Yeah, I think one of them has to go. over Valentine.
Tristan, Cam, and Kalos. We have to lose 2 out of the 3.
Who got the highest scores in general of them then?
Tristan got the highest out of... Wait, did he? Hold on.
Yeah, score-wise he got the
Tristan,
highest
yeah.
of them, but we don't always go by scores anyway, so...
We don't
Yeah.
have scores. In fact, I don't.
If
I
I'm
don't
being
know when we've ever.
objective...
I think my gripe with Tristan's is the song choice, and it was the lack of connection to the song. That was the big deal breaker for me, because that song has such a deep meaning.
Okay, but who showed more versatility of Tristan and Cam? I think it's
I would
Tristan
say,
because...
yeah.
Yeah, because Cam hasn't gone outside of that musical theater voice.
Oh, Cam is not a thought in my head.
So should we let go Cam?
Yeah.
Because we already let go of Ginga because of lack of versatility. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
we should
I think
be
Cam needs to
consistent
go.
here.
Yeah, definitely.
If we're going by bodies of work between Tristan and Kalos, I would say Kalos has the better body of work and shows more versatility in that. Because when Tristan did this song, I kind of expected it. I kind of expected that style. Whereas with Kalos has done, in my eyes, a variety of different types of songs. Because like Kalos's audition was more of a 90s kind of thing, and then he had obviously the group round The Good For You that was more of kind of almost like a rocky kind of vibe, even though it was a musical. And then this one is just completely different.
Yeah, I think it comes down to versatility again, so I think I could actually concede here. Because just looking at the scores... No, wait. Arya, you like Tristan more than Kalos this round. So what are you doing?
Being convinced, that's what.
I'm going back to my note, right? I'm checking to see who has given me what I've wanted. Kalos has always been pushing himself, and Tristan has always done what's easy.
I can agree with that. It's always the same realm of styles, even if it's slightly different. It's always been the same sort of thing.
Except this round, though. This was more country. He hasn't done country before.
More country, keyword there, more.
Body of work wise, I think I can agree that Kalos has been stronger than Tristan. But we don't really judge on body of work until the final, at least I don't. And I don't think we should. Well, okay,
If we're going
I guess
purely on performance,
except when it comes to versatility. Because that we have to look back about.
Yeah, versatility, in my opinion, Kalos has the upper hand. In terms of just this entry, I scored Tristan and Kalos the same. They lost points for different reasons. And when it comes down to it, Tristan lost points from me because of nailing basic techniques like pitch. Whereas Kalos lost points from me because of lack of dynamics within the song itself. But Tristan also lacked dynamics within the song itself because it was, I don't know what the word is for it, but it was a song that's more of like a folky kind of round song where it repeats itself. So it was obviously going to be samey. So they had the same points except for the technique, which I scored Tristan lower for. So my choice would still be Kalos.
And Arya, have you made a definite decision?
So, I hate to piggyback, but I did score Tristan really low on stuff like technique and in particular stylism. How much did he make the song into his song? Because it just really sounded like he was singing a song that wasn't his own, whereas it felt like Kalos did more attention to detail in turning the song into his piece.
I agree with that. The hook of the song was almost exactly like the original, which is impressive in its own right, but when the main was so disappointing for me, the harmonies weren't enough. I would have liked him to do more with the song than he did.
Yeah, it's sounding like this panel is leaning towards keeping Kalos over Tristan, so I think we can just call it done, because to me it was almost a toss-up, so I can go with that.
Yeah,
Kalos lives another day.
Count your days, boy.
And I will say again, I scored him as a no because I wanted to be extra harsh. But when it came to this decision, I do think I like him more in this entry.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to... Are we done with our top 12 then?
Yes,
I
we're
think
done.
so. I haven't had a chance to talk about my top performance, so I would love to if we get a chance.
Yeah, because
Delete
that's the
your
next
comment.
thing we're gonna do. We have to decide top performance.
Jess. I was so impressed. It was mind-blowing. I feel like Jess has shown hints of her voice throughout the competition, but I feel like this was her main character moment. The video as always was on point, which obviously we're not judging, but I just have to say she always has the best videos in my opinion.
Yeah.
I loved the energy of the song and that it's mysterious and uneasy and very cinematic. The expression in your voice throughout this is brilliant. I felt like it progressed very naturally from the softer voice into when it picks up with the woes and the instrumental comes in very heavy and you show that true power in your vocal. I was blown away. I had chills, especially in the second verse. It's the same melody, but the way you delivered it was so different and it really spoke to the moving story throughout the song and how you really unleashed your power and it was coming out more and you were sounding more angrier. There's been a lot of sort of songs going around on TikTok recently that have been sort of ancestral female power. I felt like you encaptured that feeling for me, and that's why I loved it so much. So, you are my personal top performance. There was nothing to critique on at all. I had no comments to feedback you on in terms of constructive criticism, so very well done.
I'm gonna keep my poker face on a little bit more, so Aria.
Quite similarly, I thought that when the song picked up, I felt like my socks were blown off with the sheer amount of power in your voice. It was so strong and healthy, and this was such an amazing performance from you. I actually accidentally kept this playing on loop for I don't know how long, and I found that I wanted more, and it was like the song ended before it even began. The only place where I docked off points was due to stylism. You did an amazing knockoff job of this, but you didn't change it. That's where I have my biggest qualms.
You have a very whimsical and jazzy voice. It was an incredibly dynamic entry. It was so emotional. This is actually kind of my dream entry for you. Your soft voice is so expressive, and then you explode with that belting and with the reverb and delay effect. That just makes this sound magical. It's just a shame that there were small pitch issues occasionally. You are sliding a little bit too much in your mid-range, but this could have been a 10 if you just polished it a little bit more, because 10 means perfect obviously. But this is still by far my favorite entry from you. I actually considered this for my top performance, but I dropped it an additional half point with my fourth listen. But I'm gonna say, Emma, that since I consider it for my top performance, then I could very easily concede on this, since she was the highest total score of our top performances.
Gimme.
I'm gonna throw in a comment here.
Oh no.
In terms of enjoyment, if we're ranking this by complete enjoyment, no judging whatsoever, yes, Jess is my top.
Yeah, that was the immediate reaction I got from it, is that it was a 10, but then I started really nitpicking on sliding.
She's a 10, but...
Yeah, 10, but... ...
I will say the other top performances each had a no, whereas my top performance
I saw that too.
had no-nos.
Yeah.
Okay, I will
So it
say
makes
that
sense.
my first pick for top performance was Jennifer, but unfortunately, the song is from a TV show, not a game.
Ooh. Oh my god. Isn't it from League of Legends or something?
It's
no,
from
what was it from?
The TV show Arcane.
Oh.
Oh, that is a show based on a game, so that, yeah, you're right.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. Ruh-roh, Reggie.
Then maybe I should drop a point because I'm dropping a point if they don't suit the theme.
I dropped half a point because it was a 10 otherwise.
Okay.
I'm dropping to a 9.
I don't feel good though, because it would have been my highest score for her so far. I'm just gonna do it.
Well, you gotta follow the brief.
It was gonna be
I'm
a
so sad.
9 otherwise, so...
Like, this makes me so sad because it is my favorite cover that she's ever done.
Yeah, same actually.
Super heartbreaking because there was that whole, like, does this League of Legends song count or not? But, like, nobody ever checked with me if this one was okay. Because I was telling everybody if a League of Legends song was okay or not.
We always have notes for everyone that we don't talk about in the deliberation clip.
Yes, and pretty please, if the notes don't cover all that you want to know or hear about your entry, shoot us a DM, read the notes first, then can shoot us a DM to get a further explanation of where you need to go and what went wrong or right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a fight between mother and daughter for me.
No.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, you never know. It might be a mother-daughter final.
You never know.
This is true.
Which Wang
Suck it
had the
up.
better sang?
It's actually Wong, though, I think.
Oh no! Oh no!
Wang is something completely different, Emma.
Emma, you're cancelled. We have it in recording. You'll never be able to
Just
show your
gonna-
face on social media
Yeah,
ever again.
I'm just gonna cut that out before I send it. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. Which Wong had the better song? There we go. That actually makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah,
nice,
that works.
Yeah. I can't believe I just
probably-
came up with that idea 2 seconds ago.
They're probably gonna be shaking their head like, Emma, there's a perfectly suitable and like phrase for you to say this whole time, and you chose the wrong one.
I thought that's how you said it.
To be fair, I did as well before Jennifer said it in episode 1.
Oh, I can't remember that far in the future. Past. Yep. I'm sick. Okay, you have to give me a pass on that one.
We have decided the top 12. Congratulations, Jess, to the wonderful top performance. Congratulations to everyone who got through. This was a really tough decision.
I'm so sorry if you guys got knocked out of the competition.
The composition.
It's game over for you guys.
Hopefully you can beat your high score next time, guys. Except there's not a next time.
No.
Oh, stop! Hey, the ones that are going through, hopefully they can beat their high score.
Yeah.
Will they be able to do it, guys?
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't miss the upcoming result. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.